And what's up, boys and girls? We are back with another week of NFL Pick'em. Last week I did pretty good. I got 10 games right. My Titans let me down. I'm not happy about that. Nick Williams, not a fan. Dropped a wide open pass. Probably would have won the game, but you know, we should have done better throughout the whole game, and we just didn't get it done. So I got to move on and tighten up this week. But and also the Cowboys lost, which upset my dad dearly. He was gonna come on this week, but he had to go out of town, so he might be back. He might be on next week. Try and get him on here. Let's get right into the picks. Also, well, before we do that, also out there in Florida and in the path of the hurricane, my thoughts are with you. We are actually in the track of it up here in North Carolina. It'll be a whole lot weaker by the time it gets here, but you know, prayers out to those involved and in the track. Be smart, stay safe. Don't do it. Go out anywhere you don't have to, and just be safe out there. All right, but back to football. Tomorrow night we go to New York. The Eagles against the Giants. Madden says 35-19 Eagles. The Giants have been getting better each week, but I'm going with the Eagles this week. I have odds now, what are Vegas odds here? And they say Philadelphia by 2.5, which is that's pretty generous. Tight game for the Giants there. Thursday night, you never know what can happen. They'll be in New York, but I still think the Eagles are the better team here, so I'm gonna go Eagles on that one. And then on to the Sunday games. We have Tampa at Atlanta, and they say Tampa 31-14. Tampa's started off really well this year. Past week or so, they haven't been like they were at the start of the season. Jameis Winston is back. They're coming off a bye week, so I think that'll help them. It's hard to say that. I don't see them beating the Falcons that much in Atlanta. But I mean, I've been wrong before about Atlanta. Last week they're coming off a pretty rough one against Pittsburgh. But I got to go Falcons on this one. My odds have them about 3.5. Atlanta winning, so I'm gonna go Atlanta on that one. Panthers at Redskins. That's a tight game, and it really could be 21-16. Props to Graham Gano. All the Panthers fans around here are real pumped about a 63-yard field goal to win a game last week against the Giants, who's not really that great of a team, but they did come back last week to make it interesting. Actually got the lead, and then the Panthers had to have a walk-off field goal there. But going into Washington is it's a back and forth kind of year for Washington. They could be a good team. They could be kind of in the middle. Carolina's kind of the same. I'm more comfortable with picking Carolina here, which is why I'm gonna go with Carolina here. My odds has Washington by 1.5, so a tight game is expected here. So 21-16 is not far off from the odds here, but I'm gonna go with Carolina going over the Redskins. The Redskins are actually tied for first in the division. They lost, well, they have a bye week in there, but they lost to the Saints. And congratulations to Drew Brees on breaking Peyton Manning's passing yard record. It's a big accomplishment. He's still got a year or so, 2 years. Yeah, I don't. It's hard to put a timetable on it, but I think he can play for a few more years. But to Carolina and Washington, I'm gonna go with Carolina on this one. Seattle at Oakland, another 21-16 score. This one's actually not in Oakland. It'll be in London at Wembley Stadium. So Oakland loses the home game here, but I think Seattle will win. I don't know that it'll be that close. Seattle's an iffy team. Oakland is. I feel like they should be better, but they're not showing it yet. The odds show Seattle by 2.5. I think it could be a little more than that. I would say it's a safe bet with Seattle. They're both having to travel to London here. That's always you don't really know what's going to happen there, but I'm going to go with Seahawks on this one. And next we have Colts at the Jets. 22-21 Jets, they're saying. That's a close one. I think the Jets will win. The Jets, I picked them last week against the Broncos, and they showed up. They have a great defense. Bilal Powell and Isaiah Crowell have been great running backs. I think they combined for over 300 and some yards this past week. I actually picked up Isaiah Crowell on free agency for this week, so I'm hoping he'll show me that he can continue to perform like he did last week. Colts are another team that's kind of in the middle. You're not really sure what you're going to get out of them. My odds show the Jets 2.5 point favorites. So, I mean, if the Colts can beat the spread there, that's what Madden's saying. But I just don't see it. That's a weird score, 22-21. But I got to go Jets on this one. I don't think the Colts are... I think the Colts are a good team, but I don't know that they're going to be able to go into New York and take care of the Jets quite like they're saying. Well, they're not saying they're going to win, but I don't think it'll be that tight. I think the Jets can win by maybe a touchdown. But yeah, I'm going to go Jets on that one. Cardinals at Vikings. They say Vikings 31-13. And I could agree with that. At the beginning of the year, I would have definitely said Vikings, that this score maybe even. But the Cardinals are getting better. The Vikings have been kind of underperforming, been kind of back and forth each week. They lost to the Bills. The Rams was a good game with the Rams, and it ended up spreading out. But I think the Vikings can still get it done. They'll be at home against the Cardinals. I'm hoping David Johnson does well. He's also on my fantasy team. The spread for this one is the biggest spread of the week. It's a 10.5 point favorite for Minnesota. So yeah, Madden agrees with that, and I'm gonna go with Minnesota. I think they could beat them by more than 10. I'd like to see it. I'd like all of them to be competitive games, good balance. But the Cardinals just aren't there like they used to be, and I'm hoping that they get better. But I still think it's a little ways off for them. And division rivals, Steelers at Bengals. Last year we remember the Bengals and Steelers for Vontaze Burfict and all that defense, and Ryan Shazier getting injured by the offense on a play there, and it's a bitter rivalry to say the least. They say Bengals 28-21. My Vegas odds here have Bengals by 2.5. It'll be a tough game. It'll probably be a one possession win. I gotta go Bengals on this one too. Steelers haven't really shown me much. They'll have a good week every now and then, but they're not a complete team. It feels like the defense isn't as good as it should be. Their offense is still pretty good, even without Le'Veon Bell, which he's supposed to come back, I think, next week. That's what they're still saying. He'll get paid for a bye week, and he'll play week 8, supposedly. But he's not there now. James Conner has been a great running back, but the passing game, Le'Veon Bell helps out a lot with that. He's a good receiver for Ben Roethlisberger. They're still good offense, but the Bengals are a tough defense, so I'm going to go Bengals on this one. They'll be at home. They have more of a complete team, I think, than the Steelers right now. So I'm going to go with Bengals on that one. It was 2.5 point favorite and 7 points by Madden, so I'm agreeing with the odds there. Next we have Chargers at Browns. They say Chargers 34-17, and Browns have been good this year. They finally won on Sunday. They hadn't won on Sunday since 2016. And they now have 2 wins on the season, but that was a Thursday night game and a Sunday game, so they're looking to keep it going. I like the Browns. I think they're a promising team. They're maybe a year or two away from really being a top team. Chargers, I've said it all year. I think that they're a team I like. They're not my team. My team's the Titans, but I do like the Chargers. I like what I'm seeing there. I'm thinking the Chargers will win this. I don't know that it'll be that big of a difference. 34-17 is kind of a blowout in this day and age, but the odds actually has it as Chargers a half-point favorite. So Madden is way off on that. But I think a touchdown, maybe 10 points. Maybe Chargers can win by that much. I just don't think it's going to be a blowout. I think the Browns are a solid team now. That I don't know that they'll be getting blown out. But I will go Chargers for that game. Bills at Texans, and they say the Bills will beat the Texans 14-12. And since they beat my Titans last week, they better beat everybody in the division. So go Bills, beat the Texans. Last week was pretty lucky for the Titans. The Texans beat the Cowboys, but everyone else in the division lost. So we didn't really lose any ground in the division. Texans kind of closed it up from the bottom to the top. But the Bills are an interesting team. What I watched of that game, they weren't really that great. It was just some penalties, some miscues on the Titans side of it. And they took advantage of it. You got to do what you got to do to get any kind of win you can. 14-12 is an interesting score. I'm wondering, I guess 2 touchdowns against 4 field goals. Yeah, I don't really know, but they'll be in Houston. I'll go with the Bills on this one. The odds say, let me see, Buffalo, they say Houston by 8.5. So they don't see it the way Madden sees it. I think Houston's easily the favorite in this, but the Bills, they have shown this year they can, surprise, they can win and be competitive at least. So yeah, I'm gonna go with the Bills on this one. Maybe that'll jinx them, I don't know, but I'm going with Bills. Bears at Dolphins. I'm saying Bears. Dolphins, they started off good last week, if I remember correctly. They had a 17-0 lead over the Bengals. Yep, they had a 17-0 lead over the Bengals, and they lost. I think it was 27-17 or something like that. They didn't score any more, and they gave up all those unanswered points. Bears defense is one of the best defenses all year. They're coming off a bye week, so they're even rested. Miami is coming off kind of an embarrassing blown 17-0 lead. Miami is still a good team, but I gotta go Bears on this one. The odds say Chicago is, I can't find it. Chicago by 2.5. So they say it'll be a close game. 24-17 is not a bad score. I might go like 27-14, some field goals in there. Maybe for Miami, different, but going Bears. All right, now to the 4 o'clock game, Rams at Broncos. I gotta go Rams. Rams they had a weird week last week. They only won 33-31. They had some injuries. Brandon Cooks went down, which killed my fantasy team. Cooper Kupp went down. They both had concussions. They should be okay for this week. So I gotta go Rams. Their defense is top notch. Broncos defense last week was terrible against the run, so even if they don't have a receiver back, they can put in Ty Gurley a few times because the Jets tore them up running the ball. So I gotta go Rams on this one. 31-21. I think it might be a little bit bigger of a lead there, margin of victory, but my odds say Rams 6.5 point favorite over Denver. And that's a safe bet to say Rams on that one. I think the Rams have been really good all year. They had a hiccup last week, but they still got the win. So yeah, I gotta go Rams. All right, now this one's just rude. Baltimore 34-0 over Tennessee. I certainly hope not. Baltimore's the favorite. I get it, but 34-0. I just, that would be terrible for the Titans. They've been performing well. The Titans defense has been great. The Ravens defense has been great. They do have John Brown who's killing it. I think he's a great weapon for Joe Flacco, who's got a strong arm. He just chucks it up there and then John Brown can run after it. That's a great duo there. The Titans don't really have like Corey Davis, I think, is going to be the guy at wide receiver, but he's not quite there yet. We're still, Delaney Walker, it's clear we're still missing him, and he's not going to be here all year. We need Taylor Lewan to stay healthy and stay in there, that offensive line. Running backs have been good. I'd like to see Derrick Henry do a little more. I'd like to see more yards by them. Mariota's he's missed some plays, and I'm not expecting him to be the best quarterback of all time or anything, but he's shown some positive things. Like last week, Nick Williams, it was a beautiful pass, wide open Nick Williams, and he let it hit his stomach and just drop. I mean, it was just a dime dropped right in there, and he dropped it. Like my jaw just hit the floor on that drop pass. That was one of the worst drop passes I've ever seen. And the Titans no longer have Nick Williams, but I picked the Titans because I hate to pick against my team. I do think the Ravens are the favorite. Titans will be at home this week. It's a later game for them. Usually they start around 1 o'clock or 12 o'clock their time, so they get a little later game. They get a little more sleep in the morning maybe. I'm gonna go Titans, but I do think the Ravens could. They're the favorite easily. Jaguars and Cowboys. Now, they have the Ravens blowing out the Titans, but they have the Jaguars barely beating the Cowboys. I mean, the Jaguars are easily the favorite here. I mean, easily. They've been a little. I'm sorry about the cough in the mic there. They've been a little rough, hitting some speed bumps these past few weeks. Justin Fournette, that's been a little bit of an issue for him, it seems like, but I think they can. Their defense is great, and the Cowboys' offense is terrible. So that alone ought to help the Jags. It'll be a low-scoring game, I think, because the Jags' offense isn't that great, and the Cowboys' defense is good. So it could be a low-scoring, good game. 17-14, I guess maybe it could be a close game, but I think like 17-10, 17-9 maybe Jags win. I'd like to see the Cowboys win this. I'd like to see Ezekiel Elliott do well, because that's really their only weapon. Dak Prescott, my dad was actually gonna I was gonna give him 5 minutes to just rant about the Cowboys' performance last week. Dak Prescott, man, he's just missing these guys. And I don't know if it's because they didn't, work together as much in the off season and the preseason and the, practices throughout the season. It's just he's not hitting them. It's not really the wide receiver's fault a lot of times. He's just not getting it to his guy, and it's really frustrating. But I'm one that I would like to see Dak run with the ball more, because I feel like he's more of a weapon that way, at least threatening to run, and then maybe getting an open receiver. They don't have a number one receiver, on the team, which it hurts, and really they haven't for a while. I mean, because Dez Bryant he's had his moments of greatness the past couple years, but last year, I mean, he was one that would just drop passes. He wasn't as good as he's past his prime, and it's been like that for really a couple years, other than maybe a few moments in the previous years. But they really do need Gallup to step up. They need their tight ends, which Jeffrey Swaim, or I think it's Jeff Swaim, has been he's been doing well. The other tight ends have been doing well, but they're not Jason Witten, and it's clear that they're missing that. The offensive line, Travis Frederick being out, it's clear that it's hurting the Cowboys. But you got to move on. All these guys are professional athletes. They need to step it up on offense. Also, 4th and 1 late in overtime, 4th and 1 at the 40 something, and you don't hand the ball to Ezekiel Elliott or quarterback sneak or something. You punt the ball. I do not understand that play call, and a lot of people have come out to say that, commentate on this, how bad of even Jerry Jones was saying this was a terrible play call, and that all goes on Jason Garrett. I've never really been a fan of Jason Garrett. It's just kind of like you just hope that he figures it out and hope the team does well, but it's going to be tough for him this week on offense. I got to say Jaguars win this game. I don't want to spend too much time on it, but the Jaguars got to. I feel like they're going to win this. I hope they don't. I hope the Cowboys win because that helps my Titans out, who's apparently going to lose 34-0 to the Ravens. But I got to go Jaguars on this one, and it has them as 1.5 point favorite on my odds. So yeah, like I said, it could be a good battle of good defenses and mediocre offenses. So it could be an interesting game, but I got to go Jaguars on this one. And Sunday Night Football, wow, 42-14. Kansas City Chiefs over the Patriots is what Madden says. The odds say New England 3.5 over Kansas City. This is like I don't know if the Patriots are an AFC Championship team right now, but this is kind of like that kind of game. This is a big game. It's early in the season, but it's a great two great teams going against each other here. I got to go Chiefs here. Their offense has just been, they have everything on offense. The defense has been good enough, maybe top 12, somewhere in there. I haven't really seen enough of their defense to really judge them. But their offense, man, Mahomes has been great. They have Tyreek Hill, Kareem Hunt still. Sammy Watkins, all these guys. They got Travis Kelce at tight end. I mean, it's a great team. And the Patriots are getting Edelman back. They still have Gronkowski. The run game, Sony Michel has been really picking it up for them. 42-14 is a bit of a stretch. I don't see the Patriots losing that much, especially at home. That tends to help them. But I could see maybe a 10-point difference. I don't know. Sunday Night Football is usually close games, and these are two great teams going against each other. So, but I'm gonna go Chiefs on this one. I don't think it'll be that big of a difference in score though. And for Monday Night Football, the Packers and 49ers. At the beginning of the season, this probably would have been a good game. 49ers are missing Garoppolo. They've been decent these past couple weeks without him. And the Packers have been struggling. So, I mean, it could be a tight game, but I think the Packers are easily the favorite. They're 9.5 point favorites in the odds here. And they're coming off a loss against Detroit, but Detroit's a decent team. I actually got that one wrong last week. It was only a score difference, so I'm not complaining too bad about that one. But yeah, Packers, I think they should win. They'll be at home against San Francisco. That usually helps. And on Monday Night Football, I think there was some snow up there. On the Canada side of the border. Don't know if it'll affect that game, if it'll get to Green Bay or not. I haven't seen the forecast, but that could be an impact on the game there. 28-14 isn't a bad prediction. They might not kick too many field goals this week. Mason Crosby actually hurt the Packers last week, which is crazy because he's always been a pretty good kicker. I mean, you play in the league for this long as a kicker, you're doing something right, you're doing pretty good. And I think he'll get it checked out and get it fixed and everything for this week. But yeah, I'm gonna pick Packers on that one. I actually have a little tiebreaker thing. You check out printyourbrackets.com. They have where you can print out the schedule and do a pick 'em. They have other options on there. Check out that. I'm not sponsored by them, but I do use them for my picks. We have an office pool and we check each one out, and but it has at the bottom a tiebreaker for total points scored in the Monday Night Football game, and I'm seeing 50. I don't know if that's gonna happen. Madden has it 28-14, so that would be a total of 42. So I'm not too far off from Madden. I was thinking 28 to. No, we'll say 30-20 is my prediction on that to get the 50 points. And this week, as you notice, we didn't have Detroit or New Orleans because they are on bye this week. So Drew Brees gets to celebrate his passing record on the off week here. But next week they will be back to action, and we will see you then. Once again, thoughts and prayers out to those in the track of the storm. Hopefully you're safe this weekend. Last I saw it was a Category 3, and it was hitting Georgia. So it's tough down there, and thoughts are with you. None of the games I don't think will be affected. Atlanta might be through there already by the time Sunday comes. Carolina at Washington might see some effects of it. But I think that would be about it. The Titans might get some rain during that, but that shouldn't be too big of a problem. But anyways, we'll all of you enjoy this week of football and baseball playoffs. Hockey started, NASCAR if you're into that. Enjoy this sports week, and we will see you next time.